producer and editor Sean Baker, and co-writer, executive producer, and director Shih-Ching Tsou. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm so glad to be seated on this stage now. So for those who haven't yet had the pleasure of catching this film at the festival circuit or at a special screening, Left-Handed Girl refers to the young girl that you just saw in the clip, whose mother runs a noodle stand in a Taipei night market. And she's left-handed, which her superstitious grandfather says is the devil's hand. So, Shih-Ching, I'll start with you. This is something your own grandfather said to you, since you're a natural lefty. How did you take that seed of an idea and turn it into a film about something more?
Well, it's a very, very personal memory. And so from the very beginning, when I told Sean about this idea, I told him I wanted to make it a story about women, how they survive in a male-dominant society, how they help each other, how they fight, how they grow together. So that's the whole story about.
And I highly recommend, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, check it out online, because it gives you the perfect sense of how propulsive and kinetic this world is. As Shih-Ching mentioned, 3 main characters, mother with 2 daughters, so different stages of life, kind of like a 21-year-old daughter, and then the 6-year-old you saw in the clip. Sean, the 2 of you have collaborated on so many brilliant films over your 20-plus year friendship. Tangerine, Florida Project, Red Rocket, but this was actually, Left-Handed Girl was actually a passion project for both of you that was conceived well before any of those films. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of developing this movie, and more importantly, why the 2 of you never gave up on pursuing this story?
Sure, yes, it goes back over 2 decades. It was actually the first idea that we talked about back in 2001. And I found all of the ideas and stories that Shih-Ching told me about her childhood and growing up in Taipei to be absolutely fascinating. Then Shih-Ching brought me to Taiwan. I fell in love with Taiwan and the vibrant city of Taipei. I felt like a child at the time. It was like sensory overload, especially being in those night markets. We saw those night markets as a potential character in this film. And so anyway, so it was something that we've been passionate about doing forever. It took a very long time to get financing, but we knew there was something very special there and something very personal to Shih-Ching. It was Shih-Ching's love letter to Taiwan, and we never wanted to let it go. So it was on the back burner for a while. A few years, we thought it might get financing, and it finally did happen, and we're here today.
Shih-Ching, like many of the films you've produced, Left-Handed Girl relied on found locations. It was also shot entirely with iPhones. Which model?
It's an iPhone 13 Pro Max.
The 13 Pro Max. Asia has the best technology, you guys. So they always get the devices. I mean, the chips are from Taiwan. Can you talk about the ways you had to be resourceful and how you turned what might have been limitations into assets for your filmmaking?
Well, it's so important from the very beginning of the making of this film. I was so determined to shoot in the real night market and shoot with the stars I discovered myself. So I actually just used all the filmmaking skills I worked with Sean on all the films he directed early on. And everything is back to Left-Handed Girl, streets casting, location scouting, like getting to the community to get their stories into the script, so everything will be more authentic.
Once you see it, it's so immersive. I have been to that exact night market where it's shot, and guys, the only thing missing is the smell of the food. Truly. Sean, once Left-Handed Girl finally secured financing and it could enter production, you were busy with some movie in Brighton Beach, and you couldn't make it to Taiwan. You couldn't make it on set. So once you were in the editing room, what was it like seeing the footage that Shih-Ching was sending you?
I was incredibly impressed. It was also quite validating, to really see that Shih-Ching, I always knew she could direct, but then she took it to the whole next level where she had a real command of the directing craft. The way they captured the night market, Shih-Ching and her wonderful cinematographer, Ko-Chin Chen, capturing this on the iPhone, being able to shoot clandestinely and really capturing those colors and lights and just the beautiful chaos of the night markets. I think Shih-Ching did that wonderfully. So for me, it was a pleasure to edit, and it was also the performances, I have to say, absolutely incredible. There were no bad takes. There were just levels of great takes. So Shih-Ching made my job easy.
We're going to get to casting in a second, but I want to ask you again, Shih-Ching, this is your solo directorial debut, but, as mentioned, you're a veteran producer. I'm wondering, how do you think that your experiences as a producer over the past 21 years have been deployed for this film as a director now?
Well, I think everything, from the very beginning of the writing and preparing for the project and finding the right crew to work in Taiwan. Also, finding the great cast. There are so many good actors in Taiwan, and especially the first. I'm the first a new director in Taiwan. So for people to kind of look at me and look at all the films I did before, that kind of gave me more. People kind of trust me more. So I think, working on the previous project, also all the experience I learned on set, all the reputation we got from different film festivals and throughout the way, it all helped me make film in Taiwan.
I want to get a little bit into theme, because again, in case people haven't seen it, there's going to be no spoilers in this conversation, but one of the ways in which you use this metaphor of the left hand is to really explore the idea of generational secrets, of family shame, things like that. What did you really want audiences to understand that might have been very culturally specific to Taiwanese families, and secondly, what, as the two of you as writing partners discovered, were very universally resonant themes?
Yeah, I think definitely the family, all the dynamic between the parents and the siblings and everything, I think that's very, very universal. We all have family. And also the left-handed taboo thing, it's really surprised me too, because there's so many people after screening, came to me talk about their left-handed story, their siblings or their self or their parents, even grandparents. So, I think these two things are the most universal in the film. But also, we trying to tackle that left-handed is not just about left-handed, it's about being yourself, being different from other people. So I think we want people to be heard, to be healed after they watch the movie. They are going to feel like, they will love themselves more and embrace their uniqueness more.
Oh, I was just going to add that, there are many cultural specificities in this film because it was about celebrating Taipei. So you will see a lot of things in there that you won't, if this was shot somewhere else, it wouldn't be included because of those specific things. However, we also wanted to capture, universal themes so that no matter where you are in the world, you can identify and connect. And there's this old adage that Shih-Ching and I had in our minds since day one, the truth will set you free. And I'm glad you didn't spoil anything, but just so you know, there's a big twist in the movie. And it's about the revealing of truth and how that can actually make you healthy again, make you whole.
What does it mean to you, Shih-Ching, as somebody who, born and raised in Taiwan, but you've lived in New York, for the past 2+ decades, to now have Taiwan's official stamp of approval? You are representing your home country as what they think is their best film to bring to the international stage. How does that feel for you as somebody who, has to date made films here?
I feel extremely honored, as a new director and as a voice for Taiwan. I want to make Taiwan proud, and I want people, especially the audience in Taiwan, to identify with this film, because it's about their country, their life, and I don't live there. I live in New York, but I go there every year. So, making this film, I rediscovered all the beauties in Taipei. It's so beautiful. little dark alley, even like the little dirty corner, they look so beautiful because they are part of Taiwan.
It's a beautiful and loving showcase. Now, talking about casting, one past experience both of you were able to draw from as producers is how to find and work with a precociously talented 6-year-old lead. You found success with that in the Florida project, and I think you've found success with that now with your lead actress. And I felt like instead of just asking you what it was like to work with Nina Ye, I thought it'd be better just to ask Nina directly. So Nina, can you come out, please? Welcome, Nina, and thank you so much for joining us from Taiwan. I know you have a long flight ahead of you, but I want to ask you, what do you remember about meeting Shih-Ching for the first time, and what did she tell you about your character and about what this movie was going to be?
The first time I meet director Shih-Ching is in a cafe, and we talk about like my life, like what do you like, and we ate together, and then she told me Yijing, she's happy and a little bit spunky and thoughtful little girl, and I remember she didn't told me what the film is about. She just told me like you don't need to like remember the script, what you need to see, what you need to say. You just need to say what you want and make it like very make it very live, and just pretend it's like alive and like say what people say at the moment. Yeah.
I feel like this question for Shih-Ching might be very obvious now, but what made Nina the right choice for this role? Which is you scouted a lot of girls.
Yeah, I watched like 50 to 70 audition tapes, and when I saw Nina, I'm like, oh my God, how come I didn't see her 2 months ago? She is perfect. And when I saw her, she has that very naturalistic look, and also just that sense of wonder. Like she looks so innocent. So I feel like that's the quality that we were looking for this role, Yijing.
And Nina, we know that in Taiwan you're a very experienced commercial actress. You are in a lot of commercials in Taiwan. Here, this movie is very different. You had to film many scenes secretly. You're running around the night market. They did not shut it down. So there's people shopping that do not know they're in Left-Handed Girl. But what was it like? What was that like for you? Like shooting those night market scenes, running around everywhere, and
I think it's very fun, and because one scene I need to run to the alley, and first I was a little bit nervous because I'm afraid I see like a little rat or some cockroaches or something, and director Shih-Ching told me, don't be afraid, we will like stand behind you, and the photographer will like stand behind me, and then because it's have a little light, so I'm not very afraid anymore, and then it's like, oh, now I'm not afraid now.
That's honestly really good advice, and I actually kind of feel like that might be the perfect note to end on. Thank you three so much for your time on this. Left-Handed Girl will be available on Netflix soon. Please check it out, and also please watch it with your families. I personally watched it with my Taiwanese mother, and it's like the first movie she agreed to watch with me in 10 years. So it was an amazing experience. Thank you so much.